Yeah, good morning.
How are you?
I'm great, and you?
I'm always fine.
All right, awesome.
So, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and who is Mark Kislich?
Well, I was born in Germany, in Duisburg-Hamburg, and that's like just north of Düsseldorf. And, well, who am I? I'm an athletic performance coach. I work mainly with football, a little bit of handball as well. Some of my athletes are, I work mainly with KR, that's my main football team, and I work with either Smári as well. I used to work with Loye Geers and people like that.
Yeah. And how did you end up in Iceland?
Okay, well, I usually say it's because I'm a crazy Viking, because I kind of see it as the land of my forefathers, and I'm obviously very interested in strength and everything related to it. So seeing, people like John Paul and Mark Kislich and all of these guys, and I just got very interested. I lived in England back then,
Yeah.
and I decided to check it out, come up here, and when I came back to London, I immediately packed my bags, and 2 weeks later I moved up here.
Yeah. So it was not a hard decision after visiting?
No, not at all. No, I fell in love right away.
Yeah. Like the Icelanders always say that we have the world's strongest men and the most beautiful women.
Yeah, you can say that, yeah.
Yeah.
And now you have the best physical coach.
Exactly. So you work as a fitness coach, like you told us, for KR, and last season also Stjarnan.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
And those teams, they had great success last year. How did fitness involve in that progress?
Yeah, I guess it played a part. Obviously they had also a great coach, Loye Olafsson. Who's I respect very highly on a professional level as well as on a personal level. He's a great guy and a great coach, and I owe him a lot. So I would say that's the number one. But if the physical training probably played some part as well, and the boys there at Stjarnan, they worked hard, so they deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at the KR team last season, they were performing very well in the second half of games, scoring many goals. So you think that's a part of their fitness, that they were fitter than other teams?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. It's basically, you can say, if you have a good base and strength, that will also make it possible for you to increase the strength and endurance. Yeah. So we have seen that from the start, that the boys were lasting longer in the games as well as in the season. Many teams start off well in the season, then later on you get tired and the performance drops, but KR was always pulling through strong.
Yeah. How is your season? Because usually strength training is in Iceland is done at pre-season, but that's changing, right?
Well, I call it the off-season, and so post-season, off-season, pre-season, we make use of all the time. Obviously, there's different trainings and different emphasis and at the different times. Like pre-season, you start to phase into more football and these things. But unfortunately, we have a very long off-season here, so the longer the better. We can do a lot of good work.
Yeah, exactly. But do they do physical training during the season, the teams that you have been?
Yes, it's what we call maintenance. It's a very limited, so very small amount. I say in the off season, the physical preparation has to come first, because if not in the off season, then when? But in the in season, obviously football comes first. But it's very important to and strength comes last, you might say. Yeah. But it's very important to maintain your strength, to keep your. So that's why we call it maintenance. You keep your strength levels and your muscle, hypertrophy levels on the same. Because if you start losing strength, you will start losing power, and then you will start losing speed, and your injury risk will increase. Yeah. So it's extremely important not to, like many teams do. They do something in the off season, then they just stop, and you will lose the strength, you will lose the muscle mass, and you will lose the speed, the power, and the injury, proveness, so to speak.
And then you will start losing games.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but how do you work? Do you work man on man, or do you like have a program for the whole team?
Yeah, there's a base program, and then there's obviously individual considerations like what we call babysitting. You know, some people need more attention because they're beginner or because they're injured. Or because they're more advanced, you know, so and if you have a different position, you have to do different things. It's not the same approach for everybody. Obviously, the most obvious example would be the goalie, who's doing totally different training to I don't know, midfielder, winger, whatever. Yeah. So it's there's a base program and there's the individual approach as well.
Yeah, exactly. But we have been. Posting your writings about nutrition and strength training on our website that have been very popular. If we can go a little bit into the nutrition, how is the overall nutrition with Icelandic footballers in your opinion?
Well, I think that it's not so good. Generally speaking, I think it's basically just the standard Western or standard American diet, which is not so good at all.
Yeah. Too much fast food?
Yeah, fast food and too much rubbish food, you know, for sure. They need to add in a lot more fruits and veggies.
Yeah, exactly. But what about the alcohol consumption of during the season? How effective is that on? Or how damaged is that to the fitness?
Very. It should not be allowed at all. Not at all. I mean, alcohol, if you get drunk, really drunk, it can suppress your testosterone levels for like 5 days or more. That means, you know, your strength goes into the basement. So in the season, you shouldn't really drink at all.
Oh.
Not at all.
Exactly. But nutrition, how important is it in the strength building and the fitness category to eat right?
Yeah, it's really very important to be healthy and also to be able to perform at your peak, you know. You need to support the work that you do. And that's also where supplements come in, you know. The right kind of supplements are very important for the natural athlete, which is the only athletes that I work with, of course. Yeah. And but you need to go to the top, to the ceiling of your potential, physical potential. These are really very important. You need all the help you can get.
Yeah. So about supplements, what supplements that work and are like good for you and legal?
Okay, yeah, very important point that. So, you know, there's, because players always ask, you know, should I use supplements at all? And if I use them, which ones? When do I use them? How do I use them? How much? Blah, blah, blah. So the thing is, around the world, there's 3 supplements that all athletes around the world basically use, which is because they are legal, they are safe, and they work. Yeah. And that's creatine, creatine monohydrate, just pure creatine, glutamine, which is an amino acid, very important for recovery, also good for focus, good for your immune system, and so on, and caffeine, you know, so basically coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these 3 should be in the supplement basement of every football player.
Yeah, normally I would recommend them, yeah. And there's more that you can and should use in cases, but these are like the 3 main ones, you might say. And some protein supplement, maybe after lifting, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. But regarding the nutrition... and in your writings, there were some myths about bananas. I think all Icelandic athletes eat bananas pre-game. Yeah. And you posted in your writings that bananas are not so good for you pre-game.
Yeah, you know, I love bananas, and they're great and really good for you. It's kind of like a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. The thing is that they are great after games, because you see players always have them before and during games. And even if you can get away with it, most of the time, it's possible that you get a low blood sugar from eating them, because they will raise your blood sugar a little bit fast. Just like, for instance, you know, white pasta or white potatoes, white bread, and bananas. They can raise your insulin quite a bit. And then you could get a low blood sugar level during the game. Yeah. And that's a big problem.
Yeah, that was maybe the problem with my football career.
Okay, really? Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
I might be a professional player today if I would skip the bananas.
You would have taken an apple instead.
Yeah, and that's apples. That's your favorite
They are fantastic. I love apples, and they are perfect pre-game, just before a game, half an hour before a game. If you feel you need something more, it's a little bit weird, but it's amazing how much of an energy kick an apple, simple apple, can give you before a game or a hard training. You should just try it out and see.
Yeah,
it's great.
I will. But what is the perfect pre-game meal, pre-training meal?
Yeah, well, so like carb loading kind of thing. Oh yeah, pre-game. First of all, it shouldn't be too close to the game. Maybe like 2 hours, because you don't want to be heavy, and you don't want to have all the blood in your digestive system, but in the muscles. You don't want to have a full stomach during a game. So at least 2 hours, something like that before a game. And it's better to have like complex carbohydrates, slow or lower GI, like brown rice, wild rice, sweet potatoes, stuff like that, or beans. It's much better than white pasta or like white bread or something like that. That's the worst you could do.
Yeah, that's interesting, because athletes usually have heard about the pasta.
Yeah,
it's a good pre-game meal. So, but the nutrition you're talking about, it's mostly vegetarian. You are a vegetarian.
Yes, I have been a vegetarian for many years, and I actually have turned full vegan just a few months ago, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I feel great.
Yeah. How come why did you take this decision?
Well, I've been vegetarian for all these years because I'm an animal friend, and that's the way I see it. If you don't have to kill to live, why do it? Yeah. And also, it's definitely better for your health.
Yeah. There's a myth that if you're a top-notch athlete, that you need the meat to build up strength. That's not true.
Yeah, no, it's not true. You need some protein. Everybody does. Yeah. And an athlete needs somewhat more protein than the average person. They need somewhat more of most nutrients, macro and micro. But you really, first of all, you don't need nearly as much protein as we are being made to believe by the food industry or the supplement industry. They'd love us to believe we need like 5 kilos of whey protein every day, because they're selling it to us, right? So you do need some, and you do need some more, but you don't need nearly as much. And it doesn't have to be animal protein, no.
Oh. Exactly. There's an Icelandic professional player in Norway, Arnór Aðalsteinsson. Mm-hmm. He turned vegetarian, and he recommended your blog about those 5 nutrition things that you posted. And
yeah, thanks.
And he has shown that it's possible to be a top-notch athlete.
Yeah. Not only possible, it's actually, I totally believe it's the best kind of plant-based nutrition. Yeah. A healthy plant-based nutrition is the best for your health. Mm-hmm. And also awesome for your performance.
Yeah, exactly. But if we turn into the strength building of the Icelandic footballers, how is if you look at over the Pepsi League, how do you rate the strength of Icelandic footballers?
Well, I can really mainly only talk for the teams that I worked with, and I think it's getting much better. I mean, the teams that I work with is great. They're doing fantastic, and also on a general basis, I think it's definitely improving, because people realize more and more how important the physical preparation is in modern football.
Yeah, but one other myth that's been going on is that heavy lifting slows you down.
Yeah, this is a very common myth. And the thing is that, of course, it depends how you train. If you train wrong with weights, if you do the wrong type of weightlifting, like, say, for instance, bodybuilding training, which nothing wrong with that, but that's for bodybuilding, not for football. Yeah. So if you did bodybuilding training, it might well slow you down. But if you do the right type of strength preparation for football specifically, you will get stronger, faster, more explosive, and much more injury-proof as well.
Yeah. Exactly. How has you've been working with KR for how many years?
It's 7th year now.
Yeah, and if you look at when you came first there, the average strength of the players, if you compare it to now, Is the KR team stronger?
Yeah, much stronger. It's a huge difference. Absolutely. I mean, we started pretty much at zero, and now we're like basically. There's some players who've been with me for the longest time, who are now at the level where they only need to maintain. They don't need to build up further. Like Balli, for instance, he doesn't need to get bigger or stronger. You know, he just stays where he is now and works more on his speed and agility, his explosiveness, things like that.
But to increase your pace, is that possible to increase it, like, so it helps you on the pitch?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you increase your strength, if you train right, you will be able to then increase your power, which in turn will increase your speed. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there a big difference, a big improvement you can gain in speed? Because usually players are either slow or fast.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's a genetic thing. You know, some people have more slow twitch build-up, and some have more fast twitch, more explosive build-up. But on the, you can, you know, just what you're born with, you can improve only very little. You know, on the speed side, but on the strength side, there's a huge room for improvement.
Yeah.
So. And the short answer is yes. With the right kind of training, you can get quite a lot faster.
Yeah. You talked about injury prevention.
Yes.
Strength or fitness coaching. That's one of the key areas where you work.
Yeah, it's a huge one. Basically, what all players go through at first is a GPP, a general preparatory phase, which prepares them for what's to come and later on in the program, and also you know, structurally balances them and injury proofs them. So injury prevention is a big factor.
Yeah, but you've been working with Icelanders for quite a while now. Mm-hmm. How do you rate the mental state? Are Icelanders willing to work hard?
Yeah, attitude. Yeah, it's fantastic work ethics up here. For instance, like you know, Balli, Baltur, he's, I believe, in my opinion, a model footballer. You know, he's got a great character. He's a very nice guy, very hardworking, never complains. You know, so he's like a great example for the Icelandic football player. But this mentality or attitude is you see up here quite often. So I think the work ethic of the Icelandic athlete in general is great.
Yeah, it's great. So are there some? If you could name some of the players you've been working with that have improved the most under your guidance?
Yeah, the most. I mean, Hannes, for instance, you know, he's been with me for some 3 years, and you might say this has been the best year of his whole career. So far, he's been doing great. Jonas Gudni, you know, he's improved a lot. Skari, he's an extremely strong player. You know, he's one of those guys who doesn't need to get stronger.
Oh.
You know, he's like doing chin-ups with plus 50 kilos, body weight plus 50 kilos, and that's strong.
Yeah, you can say that. But I talked to Rúnar Kristinsson earlier today, and he told me when you came to Iceland that you had no interest in football or didn't know much about the game.
Yeah, not at all. I'm pretty much still a little bit of a football ignoramus as far as the rules go and many players and stuff like that. And you know, when I first met Logi Ólafsson, he's the man who actually got me into football. Yeah. One of my athletes, Auðun Helgason, he recommended me to him. And then when we met first thing I said to him is that you know, even though I'm from Germany, I don't really like football. I never played football, and I'm not so much into it. But that, of course, has changed now a lot, you know.
Exactly. But, Mark, I think we have covered it for now, and
fantastic.
And we're looking forward to your next blog.
Well, thank you.